Well, now, let's say there is something like 5 million in your bank, or maybe, guess what? It is possible to get that amount of money. Please don't skip this video, don't skip it. You know what they say? What you confess, you possess. And people be like, hey, Joseph, just talk about little money. No, let's talk big things. Let's talk big things, okay? By the way, literally yesterday, a client called me and he said, hey, you know what, Joseph? I have 5 million with me somewhere. What should I invest on? Is it bills, or rather, is it bonds? Is it rentals? That's the real estate. Should I go with, you know what, MMF? Should I go the stocks way? Should I go the... You get the thing. So obviously, this is a concerned individual because you've taken a lot of time to accumulate this money. And the guy is like, what is the best thing to do? And guess what the title says? Watch this video to the end and you're gonna thank me later. By the way, this is Good Joseph speaking. If you're watching me for the first time, thank you for your eyeballs. And if you're a returning subscriber, you don't know how much I'm so grateful, by the way. By the way, guys, thank you for 163,000 subscribers that I have on the YouTube channel. I'm telling you, it's because of you. And by the way, don't forget as well, go ahead and subscribe. What's the importance is that you're gonna be notified whenever I upload a new good video, because I do so each and every day. All right, let's get in the business. All right, now here we are. See, you have yourself this 5 million somewhere in terms of the investment, okay? And you don't know, should I go the rentals way? Should I go the MMF or the other thing, okay? Now, what I always tell people, before I even throw words and tell you, hey, go bills way, go the bonds way. No. The best financial advisor cannot suggest anything for you. Okay, fine. No, not really suggest, rather, but cannot force things to you. Cannot telling you, because there's this question that most of the people tend to ask. Hey, hello, Joseph, how are we doing today? I have 5 million. What's the best investment that I can do? Now, what do you mean by the best investment? See, I need to understand who is you, where are you heading, and what do you want? All right? You get what I'm saying? Now, what happens is that when we say which one is the best, we need to ask ourselves, what do you want as a return? If you are the one who has this 5 million Kenyan shilling with you and you want to invest, what do you intend to get out of this money? What is your intention? Oh, okay. You know, there's someone whom you can ask them, hey, you have 100,000? Oh, you want to invest it? Oh, amazing. How much are you intending to get out of that? Some people give you two reasons. One, or give you two answers. One, an informed answer. Did you know we usually have something called, you can go check this on the emotional cycle. We have something that is called an informed optimistic. You are optimistic, but you are informed. You're not informed. Someone tells you, hey, I have 100,000. I want to invest this money, be it either bills, bonds, or MMF, and I want to be getting at least 50,000 each and every month. It is not possible. It's not. With the principle, you cannot, and not only in Kenya, anywhere global, you cannot get that. Or someone asking, Joseph, I can be able to save 10,000 each and every month. Tell me what I can be able to do to get a million shilling at the end of the year. Okay, you are optimistic, but you are uninformed. You're not informed. Okay? Now, see, how much do you want to get out of the 5 million? Be like, okay. Out of that 5 million, if I invest it, Joseph, if I get 50,000 out of it per month, I'll be so happy. Okay. If I get 70,000 out of money that if I'm gonna invest that at 5 million, I'm gonna be happy. Now I'm getting you. I want to get 100,000. See, I have to know what you want to get out of that money that you want to invest. Now, after knowing what you want, now I feed you with the realities. We see the outcomes of the bills, outcomes of the bonds, outcomes of the real estate, outcomes of the business, the risks involved, and that kind of a thing. Then I have to go to a step further and ask you, fine, that's what you want to get. You want to get 50,000. So what is the whole reason why you want to get the 50,000? Be like, if I get 50,000, right now I earn 40, so therefore I can even quit my job and focus on that building myself. Or my aim is to one day reach at least an income of 100,000 out of that. And how I'm going to do that? The 50,000 that I'm getting, I'm going to keep on compounding it or plow that money into the investment until I reach that particular goal. You see, now when you've established that particular understanding, now I know where to pick you from. Now I know what you're doing. So the question is, let's go ahead and define what would be the best for you to invest on this. And obviously, I'm going to consider the returns, okay? First, let's start with the rentals, okay? Let's start with the rentals. What do we gain out of the rentals? If you didn't know, here in Kenya, if you invest on rentals, if you invest 1 million in rentals, the average income you get out of that 1 million bob is 10,000 a month. I repeat, if you invest 1 million bob or 1 million shilling here in Kenya in the real estate, the average that you get is 10,000 per month. All right, unless a crazy thing happens. But the rental income in Kenya usually grows at a very, very slow rate. You know, by the way, you can actually rent a house today for 5,000. Before even it reaches 5,500, it's like 5, 6, 7 years before it reaches to that particular point. Okay, now here we are. Okay, if you go the rentals way, let's assume two ways. Either you don't have a piece of land or you have a piece of land. If you do have a piece of land, you're gonna go ahead and the 5 million gonna build you like an average of like, let's give it at around, at most 7 units. 7 units of 1 bedroom, 7 units of 1 bedroom, 7 to 6, let's just say 6 to 7 thereabout. Let me say you're actually building in an area where the availability of the construction materials is quite affordable. Let's work with the 7 figure, okay? The 7 one, average cost of 1 bedroom in Kenya will give you, just to be generous, there are places where you can even rent at 5,500. There are places even 4,000. There are places where you can even go for 6,000, 7,000. In Nairobi, probably you're gonna go for 8,000. Okay. Now, what happens? Let's just be a bit generous and give it at around 8,000. Okay. So you go by 7 multiplied by 8,000. That gives you 56,000. Okay. That gives you 56,000 a month. Now the question is, obviously, there's some deduction that you have to pay. You have to pay the KRA, that's the Kenya Revenue Authority, that the taxes things, this amount of money again, you have to pay some other outstanding, the water bills and some blah, 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 blah things out there, okay? Therefore, let's just say the 6,000 just goes into the down drain and then you're left with a clean 50,000. And remember one thing that what we are doing, we are ignoring, we are assuming that the houses will have actually what we call the 100% occupancy rate. Nothing like disturbance, there's no repairs, there is no nothing, blah, 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 and all those kind of things, okay? So the 5 might actually give you the 50 Gs at the end of the month. That's what you stand to gain. So if your aim was to get 50,000 out of the 5 million, and by the way, before we even continue, I want you to see, there is this assumption that most of the people tend to have like, hey, you know what? You know, building rentals is growing money. You know, building rentals has a lot of money. Yes, when you deal with volumes. Rentals actually talks about not you getting, for example, you've invested 5 million Kenyan shilling and you're getting 50,000 per month. Tell me when you're gonna break even. Break even means that when are you gonna accumulate this 50,000 continuously until you raise the 5 million? In Kenya, it gives you an average of 10 years, 10 to 12 years. Sometimes you can even go to 15 years. Let's talk with an average of 10 years. You're going to take yourself like 10 years to get back your 5 million. That's quite a long time. And that's why I always tell people, rentals or the real estate is not really a way of growing money. Per se, it is a way of sort of safeguarding it. Yes, there is a growth, but the rate of growth is actually way a little bit low. And that's why we always tell people, if you're young, there's nothing wrong with you building this. But if this is the only money that you have, in Kiswahili we say mbele na nyuma, you don't have any other cash, it's only this one, then you throw it here. It is okay, but I wouldn't really advise you to do that. I would advise at least get a certain percentage of it. But again, it depends on the mission that you have. If 50,000 is good for you and that's what you're aiming for, forget about what God Joseph is saying. Focus on that. That is okay with you. It's actually fulfilling your target. But if I was B, obviously I wouldn't go with this because to me, I would say I'm still young. I would like to focus more on growing this money. So I would actually take a certain percentage of this money, probably $1 million, go get myself into the business. And then the 4 million, I can actually build my rentals. Probably they're going to give me like 5 units. And those 5 units, I can focus on getting the rental income from that 5 units, the $1 million shilling. I get myself into a little bit risky, but has a high return. For example, this 5 million, and this is where people don't get it right. This 5 million is giving you 50,000. And I don't know why people usually comfortable with 55 million giving you 50,000 in rentals, but 60,000 from the MMF, for example. They say, oh, that's too little. And once they build, they're hit with another reality. I don't know why. Anyway, I can't forget that we are on the bonds and bills and rentals. We're going to talk about that, okay? But let me just shed a little bit of light on this. For example, this is person A who have decided to go the rentals way. Person B, you the same amount of money, had decided to get this money, and then you go do something called business. Maybe you go lease a place somewhere along the busy street, and then you put yourself a very nice, entertainment zone. There is a nyama choma there, and then, or maybe you can decide even to go to an import some things. You can decide to import the kitchenware. You can even decide to get into the businesses of maybe even car. You can actually start a car importation business with as little as 5 million. You can actually import some several units of, let's say, £1,000,000 or something, and you have yourself car, and maybe you can merge it to an existing, like you have a lot you can do with 5 million. You can actually decide to get this amount of money, show up to a places like Narok in Kenya. Those are places where they do a lot of farming. You can lease a land, get yourself into the farming. You can get this 5 million. Like the amount of money that you're gonna get obviously is more than 50,000. I understand there's a little bit of risk involved, but it has a better returns. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a discussion of, okay, this is what the rent gives you, 50,000. Let's go to the bonds. The bonds, I'm going to borrow example of the bond that we had last time that was going for 17.9%, and it was going for 6.5 years. So it was 17.9%, it was 16.93 whatever percent, and it was actually going for 6.5 years. Okay, now the point is, let's just do a rough estimation of 18%, okay, to make this a little bit easier mathematics. You're gonna do the deduction later. Now here we are. Oh, okay, fine. We can just do 17%. Let's just do 17% so that you don't crucify me on the comment section. Now here we are. Let's disregard the 0.9%. Now see, we are at 17%, and this is actually tax-free. It is tax-free IFB. This is an IFB, meaning infrastructure bond. Now, you get your 5 mic, you throw it into this investment. One mic gives you, because it's 17% per year, then one mic gives you 170 Gs or 170,000. So, and you have 2 of, or rather you have 5 of them. So you have the second mic gives you the same, then up to the 5th million. The 5th what? The 5th million gives you the 170,000. Simply means you can go ahead and multiply this number. So it will be 170,000, okay, multiplied by 5. You get yourself 0, 0, 0. This is 35. We write 5, we carry 3. Don't know where we take it, but let's carry it. One has get 5, then you get yourself 850,000 per what? Per year. This is per annum. Remember, we want to bring this figure up to the levels of what? To the levels of per month. So if you were to divide this by 12, you can do the mathematics. I didn't do that. You can actually go ahead and, if you want to know whether you're getting more or less, remember we have a rough figure of 50,000. So 50,000 per month, this is what the rentals is giving us. You multiply this number by 12. This gives you 600,000. Gives you what? 600,000. Even before even calculating this or dividing it by 100, we already know with the rentals we are getting 250,000 less if you go the bonds way. Again, if your interest was to get more money, but again, the thing is, it's a bit shortcoming because it's only going for 6.5 years. Then after this particular period of time, either you can go ahead and fetch for another bond, or maybe you can change the investment plan and what have you. But within a period of 6.5 years, if you're getting at 50 Gs an year and you have 6 years for you, you can multiply that. Though it's an amortized bond, but that amortization applies when you have £1,000,000 and below. So when it's 5 million and above, then amortization is not applicable. Then this amount of money runs for the period of 6.5 years. So it is 850,000 multiplied by 6. We are talking about close to actually doubling your money. It's more than doubling your money. So by the time now you're clocking 6.5 years, you've already gotten back your money. So you have 2x your money. You have 2x your money, meaning you have doubled. Now we are talking about the 10 million, assuming that you are not eating that money, quote unquote. So you have the 5 million in the principal amount. We call it the face value plus what you've gotten, another 5. When you combine the two, you're talking about the 10. Remember, there's a dude who did the construction. He's waiting for an average of 10 years to get back the money. For you've already doubled your money. You have your 5 million. Then you can even decide to go ahead and do what this dude did 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and you pick it up from there. And of course, that is a smart investment, and that is exactly what you do whenever it comes to investment. So allow me to go to the last one. The last one, the MMF, you can still do all this calculation. Average returns on MMF in Kenya gives you around 13-14% thereabout. If you subject that to the deductions and what, that gives you an average of, say, close to 600 or 6, let's talk about 650,000 thereabout, okay? Or let's even say 600,000 or thereabout. But now the thing is, the MMF doesn't have a lot of moving parts. You don't call nobody, you don't do the innovations, you don't do all those kind of things, you don't have to do the follow-ups and what have you. So it all depends. which one you can actually pick. Now, the question I know that is ringing in your head is, now, Joseph, having that you've shared all that information, which one is the best to pick? We don't have the best investment. We don't have an investment that fulfills all the things that you want. We don't have an investment that you can withdraw any given time, has high interest rate, you can actually have the compound interest, we don't have the thing that fulfills all that. The question is, question should be, how do I get all of them? Because why? Money market fund gives you the liquidity. You can withdraw your money at any given time. When you build your rentals, you cannot have your money at any given time unless you sell that property. You're not liquid. What you have is an asset that is bringing in the cash flow. Unless you take a loan against it using the deed of that particular property, that's the time that you can get money out of it. When you go the bonds way, again, you're not liquid, but you know in a particular period of time, that is 6.5 years, you are 100% sure you're going to get back your money and all those kind of things. So the question is, do you want to fix your money for 6.5 years? Others, you don't want to have the cash, you want to have the asset. Another one, you can actually get what you call the liquid money at any given time. So the point is, you ask yourself what is working for you, what is the best for you at this particular point, and then you can work towards acquisition of exactly that. Thank you for being with me. I've actually shared all what I had. Talking about 5 million is not a simple thing. Anyway, the year is good, Joseph. Go ahead, and if you'd like to get my services, by the way, let's say I have not answered your question here particularly, you would love to have a hold of me. You'd like us to have a discussion, be it a Google Meet, a normal call, whatever the thing it is, go grab that number of mine. It's on the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call, a text, or an email, then we can be able to pick it up from there for just a coffee price. So goodbye and see you in the next one.